Good morning and welcome to the Daily Light Devotion. I hope all of you have had a wonderful Monday and looking forward to today. That is the 12th of August. Today we're going to look at Acts chapter 17, verses 5 to 9. The devotion's title is Responding to Resistance with Courage. So, after a powerful response to the gospel in Thessalonica, resistance quickly arose. And we see this is a common theme when the truth is preached, right? There is resistance. While some embrace the truth, the others stir trouble. And these verses show us how the gospel often provokes strong reaction and how God's servants must endure opposition with wisdom and grace. So, verse 5 says, But the Jews who were not persuaded, becoming envious, took some of the evil men from the marketplace, and gathering a mob, set all the city in uproar and attacked the house of Jason and sought to bring them out to the people. So basically, the house of Jason was where Paul and Silas were staying, um, and not everyone will celebrate the gospel when it's preached. Jealousy among religious leaders led to violence, mob violence. And instead of debating the truth, they stirred up chaos. So we need to expect resistance when the truth is preached, right? Because we know that Jesus himself said this world belongs to Satan, and the spirits of a lot of people are controlled by the evil one, by the enemy. So when we preach the gospel, it is not the person, but the spirit behind it that is revealing that they need to stand against opposition. And we can see that everywhere, right? Opposition will come. Jesus himself said, when they come against you, they've not come against you, but they come against me. It's a very, what we call the spirit of Antichrist, right? I'm not saying they are the Antichrist, but it's a spirit which is not for Christ, but against Christ. So we must understand that when the people are coming against us, it's not the person, not the people, it is the spirit behind them. So we need to take authority. And one way it helps us. Right. Verse 6 says, But when they did not find them, they dragged Jason and some brethren of the rulers of the city, crying out, These who have turned the world upside down have to come here too. The gospel disrupts every system of power, pride, and sin. That is the worldly system, right? The accusers were unintentionally testifying the impact of the gospel. It was turning the world upside down. So they were trying to create chaos, but that's what Satan does. He's a fool and he's a loser. So what happens usually is that he shows his hand too much and exposes himself in the end, right? So, but we need to be walking in faith. Faith in action causes a visible shift. When the gospel is lived out boldly, it shakes the culture. Now, verse 7 says, And Jason had harbored them, and these are all acting contrary to the decree of Caesar, saying, There is another king, Jesus. Following Christ means living under his authority, that is the kingdom authority, which often conflicts with the worldly system. Remember, the early church wasn't just seen as a religious, uh, just as religious, it was political in its alliance with King Jesus. So Jesus uh, is our savior, plus he's our king also, right? King of kings. So true discipleship challenges our loyalty to anything else. We're not under any government. We're not under, I see so much of my friends from America, they're so love with their president that he's become king for them. But Jesus is our true king because that's our mindset. And all governments come under Jesus, who's the King of Kings. So that's what I want to say. And I love my friends from America, but know this thing. But Jesus is the real king, right? Not anybody else. Like in our country, also, Jesus is the King of Kings, no one else. So that's what I want to say. I'm not trying to offend anybody, but that's the truth. We are kingdom people. We are not of this world. We live in this world, right? We have to walk under the systems of the world. But the truth is, we are part of a kingdom which is much greater than this kingdom. So we don't struggle with things, or when our leaders disappoint us. because they're just like kind of channel. They're not the main source. God is the main source. So verse 8 to 9, gospel influences lead to cost. Um, and they troubled the crowd and they troubled the crowd and the rulers of the city when they heard these things. So when they had taken security from Jason and the rest, they let them go. So Jason, who welcomed Paul and Silas, faced pressure for associating with them. Being close to the gospel work brings personal cost, but he stood firm. Right, that is amazing about Jason. So there's a price when you're partnering with the gospel. Faithfulness might cost reputation, peace, or resource, but it's worth it, right? Um, we don't fear opposition, right? When people oppose the gospel, it is often means that we are in the right path, right? Second application we can have is we live boldly for the kingdom. Let others see our loyalty to Christ in how we live, right? Our loyalty is only to Christ, remember, not any, other leaders or, like I said earlier, support the mission. Be like Jason. We need to support those who preach, and even when it's risky, right? We need to help support whoever's preaching the gospel, um, and then we know there's fruits there, right? Trust God with the outcome. God works even in the resistance to spread his word, right? We need to trust God, um, that what he says in his word will come to pass despite the resistance, despite the challenges we face while preaching the gospel. So I want to encourage you. Resistance is a part of revival, right? But the same gospel that saves also shakes. Don't We don't need to be discouraged by the noise. God is at work behind the scenes. We need to be like Paul, Silas, and Jason, faithful, bold, and loyal to our King, Jesus. Because I know that we is getting a lot of resistance in our country, but that's fine. That's part of the gospel. Our response should be positive. I say saying that the truth is being there is revival coming when there is opposition. So I want to encourage you with that. God bless each one of you. Have a wonderful Tuesday. Bye.